Right, I'm going to start this with a disclaimer to say that this is not a threat to anyone. I am not making any threats. I am not going to hurt anyone. I am not going to kill anyone. That's it. That's what my first statement here. It's important that that's understood because I'm about to say some other stuff which might indicate the exact opposite. And why might I say these things? Well, because the Pokémon Company is fucking you. Yeah, you, the person who's listening, you're getting fucked. You're getting fucked over by the Pokémon Company. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. I'm talking mostly about you, but I'm talking about everyone here. They don't care. If they cared, things would be different. Things would be so different if they cared, but they don't. And they're fucking us. They're fucking me. They're fucking you. They're fucking everyone. Pokemon Red and Blue, those were games made by alpha males for alpha males. Like, those games were perfect, okay? It was made on old, outdated technology. That didn't matter. Black and white, unlit, back screen. That was all just how it was. And that was how it should have stayed. These games were a gift to all children and muscular adult men and women all over the world. Pokemon Red and Blue was insanely goated. Alright, the first 151 Pokemon, they were insanely perfect. There wasn't a bad one. Even the shit ones weren't bad. You know what I mean? Even the Pokemon designs where it's like, you know, I'm not gonna get a tattoo. Even those were fucking good. They were fucking good. There isn't a bad Pokemon. Gen 1, not a bad one. Bellsprout is a fucking Chad. So okay, the Pokemon designs were fucking incredible. What else was amazing about it? Well, the game just set up the entire lore, the entire foundation. Everything about Pokemon as we know it today was introduced and perfected by Generation 1. And I know a lot of people out there say, what about Generation 2? What about Generation 3? What about Generation 4? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Gen 1 did it better. Gen 1 did it perfectly the first time. It was fully fleshed out. There were Pokemon centers, there were nurses, there were gyms, and there was an Elite Four at the end. That's all you needed. And you had an adventure. You went on an adventure. You were a kid and you got a Pokemon. You got one of the 3 best starters that were ever designed. There's some argument that Gen 2 had good starters. Let's face it, after that, they were all absolutely pathetic. So I have no complaints about Gen 1. Even the bugs in it made it better. They added secrecy, they added mystery, they added cheats. It was so good. We had it so good. And we were handed it down by Satoshi Tajiri, the fucking shining legend who, you know, worked it out. He worked hard. He fit a world of perfection and majesty into that tiny little cartridge. He was a true champion. He was, you know, one of the great geniuses of our time. He's up there with Professor Tolkien as a world builder, a trend setter. You know, Tolkien's the father of fantasy. Well, Pokemon, I don't know, it's just the father of Pokemon. Pokemon was this non-existing force that was ready to be unleashed. It was like a spirit bomb, and he charged it up from his childhood. And we all know the stories. If you're listening to this, you're a Pokemon lover. You know the stories. He used to go out. He liked collecting bugs. He wanted to make a game about that. We know that. That was him charging the spirit bomb. And when he unleashed the spirit bomb, it destroyed the world. AKA, it took over the world with Pokemania. And we were there. If you were there, you know that that was Pokemon. What it is now is not that. What it is now is different. It's not as good. It's bad. It's not all bad. I'm talking about the games here. Red and Blue, the games were perfect. Gold and Silver, pretty good. Not perfect, but, you know, it had many good features. So then, you know, the games went downhill. They kept going downhill. And why? Because the Pokemon Company is fucking us up the bottom. They see it. We see it. We all see it for what it is, that the Pokemon Company would rather make a cheap piece of shit game with character designs which are disgraceful, quite frankly, and they just think it's going to sell because it's Pokemon and we've got all of this good grace, we've got all this goodwill from the millions of children and now, let's face it, mostly adult men and women who were sold on this idea by the original majesty and beauty of Gen 1. In my mind, Pokemon's been riding Gen 1 ever since. All of the main mascots are Gen 1. Yeah, you can make some arguments here and there for certain other Pokemon that have come along, and there have been some good ones. I'm not saying that none of them are good, but look at these. These are that one's disgusting. Compare that to this. Do I even need to say anything? Is this even worth saying? No. But I'm saying it because I've had enough. I need to say my piece here. Gen 1 was the best generation. You could name your Squirtle Big Cock if you wanted. You could call them anything. You could call your Charizard Penis. And then get that shit to level 100 and kill the Elite Four over and over and over again with Penis. Just slashing. You just get him up to level 100, your Charizard named Penis. He has Slash and he kills every single one of them over and over again. And that's it, that's the end game. There wasn't even a post end game required. Like, it was that great. You just needed to enjoy yourself. Enjoy getting your Charizard named Penis to level 100 and then destroying the Elite Four over and over again. And Gary, or whatever his name is, the rival, I think I used to just call him piece of shit, whatever. I'd fuck him again and again and again. Kill him over and over again. And that was great gameplay. Picture this. Pokemon Scarlet comes out in 1997 or 6, whenever. Roughly around the time of Gen 1. Pokemon Scarlet comes out. It comes out and it's somehow the equivalent. It's on the Game Boy. No one's surprised by the graphics. That's just blah, 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 blah. It's Pokemon Scarlet comes out. Does that launch the biggest franchise of all time? No. That dies in the water. That is over. The Pokémon Company doesn't even get started with a game like that. That is not a game which inspires. That is not a game which launches 1,000 ships. And the ships are filled with millions of happy children. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet does not do that. Sword and Shield doesn't do that either, although it had a slightly better chance of doing it because that wasn't as terrible as Scarlet and Violet. The facts are in. The Pokemon Company is fucking us. They don't deserve us. They don't deserve to be in charge of Pokemon anymore. You could give it to anyone. Give it to a random fan of Pokemon and they would do a better job of designing the game, of like improving it, of adding the things that we all expected we would have like 26 years later or whatever it is. It's almost 30 years later. Back then, in the 90s, Gen 1 came out. I was 10 years old and I was thinking, it's only up from here. This is the first game? This is the first game! And we're here, at this level. Where's it gonna go from here? It's on a Game Boy. Game Boys are already old, but it's fucking incredible. Where's it gonna go? Right around that time, what was coming out? N64, GameCube, we were on a trajectory. And just a few years later, World of Warcraft comes out. Games expand into a whole new era. And Pokemon, what does it do? Pokemon should have been leading the charge. Pokemon should have been at the top. Pokemon should have been pushing that agenda of making games incredible, making awesome games. You know what? They were restricted by being handheld. And you know, while it was on handheld, it was okay. I wasn't as angry. It's on handheld. How much can they do? They can't be doing what everyone else is doing. Exactly. And they did do a lot. They did. But then what happened? They came to home console, hybrid, Switch. And what did they do when they did that? Nothing. They had an opportunity. They had a responsibility to make the games decent. Just decent. That's all they had to do. Make the games decent. You know? It's time for them to stop fucking with us. Alright? We're about to enter a new generation, and they need to stop fucking with us. There are kids, generations of children born after Gen 1 who, frankly, have never played a good Pokemon game. If you're getting a Switch now and you're starting off with Pokemon on the Switch, then I'm sorry, but you're playing a piece of shit. It's true. You're playing a terrible, terrible game. It's not even a game. It's just a sample board of here's the new Pokemon who are going to be in the anime and on the cards. But the game, you may as well just flush it down the toilet. I feel sorry for these kids with their Switches. They're in the Matrix and they're sucking down the milk, whatever it is they drink. You know, they're sitting in the milk or the goo. But it's not good milk. They're not sucking down good milk anymore. They're sucking down the shit milk, the black sewage. That's what they're being fed, the children. The children should be fed fresh milk. They should be getting fresh milk from fresh, clean udders, but they're getting black, sickening milk. That's what the Pokemon Company's giving the children and the grown-ups. Why don't you just value us, Pokemon Company? They got so much money from the last mainline Pokemon games. They've sold so well. And you're fucking with the wrong people, alright? I'm serious. Don't. It's a warning this is a warning to you, Pokemon Company, that, you're going up against the wrong crowd. The Gen 1ers. We're still here. We never went anywhere. We never went anywhere. But I have some self-respect. I mean, yeah, I bought every single Pokemon game, but I have self-respect. And I won't accept this sorry state of affairs anymore. I'm standing up to you, Pokemon Company, and I'm telling you that you're fuckers. You hear that? You're fuckers. What are you going to do about that? Maybe you should make a good game. Make the game we always expected and wanted. A game which fulfills the Pokemon games' destiny of becoming good. As good as Gen 1 again. For the modern times. We live in the future now. We thought we were in the future then when Gen 1 came out, and we were. That was the future. But now we're not. In Pokemon. But in reality we are, although you know what I'm saying. It's been a quarter of a century and this is the best you can do? You fucking pricks. Give us the best Pokemon game of all time or else! This isn't a threat. I'm not threatening anyone. Just saying, or else. It's gonna be trouble. Alright, anyway, thanks guys for listening. This was a great video. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you really enjoy my thoughts. They're fresh thoughts there. Look, if you're a Gen 1er like me, leave a comment. Gen 2ers as well, that's fine. You can. And look, any Pokemon fan who wants something good to come and you want to get behind this message, this is my campaign now, okay? I am the Gen 1 campaigner, and the campaign is make Pokemon as good as Gen 1 again. And I'm not giving a list of ways to do that. That's not up to me. I'm just expressing myself. And if you want to express yourself too, then join the movement. Subscribe to the channel. This is about making Pokemon good and telling the Pokemon Company that they can't mess with us anymore. We're standing up. We are standing up to you. So Leah, like and subscribe to me, because I'm going to be making more of these messages and we're going to get the message through. The message is going out. The people are speaking. The people have spoken.